Welcome, everybody. This is Monarch World, rocking the house. Oh, I gotta cut my hair. Okay. What's up, Tim? We're just signing in, waiting for viewers to come up. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Make sure if you have any questions, ask them, and then I will be happy to answer them. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So, let me know when we're live, Crystal, on the Raw Food World. Okay, we're live everywhere. There we go. Okay, so welcome everybody. This is Matt Monarch with the rawfoodworld.com. Right now we have a special promo on our website. Everybody has $9 store credit deposited into their store account, which is now good until the end of the month. On top of that, you can use the coupon code RAWFOOD7 for 7% off. And if you order any Kicked Essential, Organo product, or Oceans Alive, you get free shipping. So you can use many savings at once. Okay. First, I'd like to say that someone's saying this is blurry. It might be your internet connection. Does anybody else think I'm blurry on Instagram? Crystal, what do you say? Well, we're actually getting questions on news.therawfoodworld.com/live. Ask your questions here, everybody. Okay, there's my answer. If we're blurry or not. Oh, we are blurry. Why do you think that is, Crystal? Is it just the internet connection or? Pixelated on Instagram. Are we pixelated everywhere or just on Instagram? I know we were having internet issues earlier. I should just left it. Everyone's saying I'm blurry on Instagram. Here, I'm going to turn Instagram off and then turn it back on, see if that does anything. So, end Instagram. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Scored. Okay. Going live on Instagram once again. Okay. Okay. I am on Facebook. It just says live, but there's no viewers. Here, let me start. We're having technical difficulties today. I'm redoing Facebook right now. Live. Okay, good. We're better on Instagram. Facebook Live is acting weird. Okay, I just put it back on. Crystal, let me know about Facebook. Okay, in the meantime. Wow. Oh, it's the same person. Okay. It might be my internet connection, if this is the case. Okay. Why isn't Facebook working? It says it's live right now. I'm ending it again. I shall turn off my phone and turn it back on.
We're better on Instagram.
Okay, we'll try one more time here. Live, start live video. Nothing I can do. Okay, anyway, let's get started here. Do you have any thoughts on whether we need to have our wisdom teeth removed or not? Do you think diet has a determining factor in that decision or not? I've never had my wisdom teeth removed, dentist nor my doctor, everybody. I don't like dentists, and I would do everything in my power not to have anything done. But I've heard that wisdom teeth can start to push all other teeth and mix them up, cause other issues. Whether that's true, I can't say or not. So that's that. Okay. You may have already answered this question previously. Do you add water to your juices, or is it pure carrot, celery, cucumber? It's pure carrot, celery, cucumber. I don't add any water ever. You might be better off just drinking less. If you type in, I mean, I could look it up and then come up to my own conclusion like I normally do on wisdom teeth, but I'm not gonna like do that while we're in the middle of a hangout. But everybody ask your questions right now if you can. Okay. What advice would you give to someone with a CRP? I think that's some sort of how many proteins you have, a 0.7 and an HSCRP of 10. Okay, so the CRP is a normal level, and then HSCRP is very high, and it's actually recommended to go get other tests when something like this happens. However, I'm not a big fan of blood tests, as many people know, of the results and fear and stuff like that in regards to it. Like, oh no, I have a disease. In most cases, especially something like this, and before making any changes, you might want to talk to a healthcare professional or a doctor, because I'm not a doctor. But things like diabetes, high cholesterol, risk of heart disease like this is this thing you're dealing with right now. You need improvement in diet where you eliminate refined sugar, all sugar that's been heated above 118 to 130 degrees. Processed starches like white starches, like bread, and trans fatty acids. Just eat a cooked whole foods diet. If you eliminate these foods from your intake, all of these numbers immediately like balance out. I've been a raw food pioneer. I've been on a raw food diet for 20 years now. And this type of diet works. I've literally seen people heal from all sorts of diseases by simply improving their dietary lifestyle. For example, if you were to look at all the diets on the market today, so this is the Zone diet, the macrobiotics diet, the South Beach diet, the paleo diet, the ketogenic diet, all these diets out there. The creators claim to get results from the diets when people do it. They say you're going to lose weight and heal from disease. And I've actually seen a lot of people do all of these diets, heal from disease and lose weight. And there's one common denominator on why they all succeed. And that common denominator is they all eliminate certain foods from their intake completely without any exception whatsoever. And the crazy thing about it all is all those diets that we just mentioned and any other diet out there that works, they all eliminate the same exact foods. And the most damaging foods to the human body are the ones I just mentioned. All these diet plans eliminate refined sugar, processed starches, cow's milk, and then sometimes goat's cheese is allowed, and bread items like croissants, bagels, things like this. So pretty much you want to just eat a healthy whole foods diet. Crystal, can you please post our cooked whole foods diet across the board here? We're going to put a link of our cooked whole foods diet list, and this kind of follows the same premise. If you can eliminate everything from your diet, all the foods, except for all the foods that are on this list, then congratulations, you're on a cooked whole foods diet. All of your numbers should balance out if it comes to things like cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes. And I've literally met thousands of people who have healed from all other sorts of degenerative diseases from simply doing a healthy raw food diet or cooked whole foods diet. And it's not as difficult as you think. On a cooked whole foods diet, you could eat eggs, chicken, fish, turkey, quinoa, millet, buckwheat, baked potatoes, goat's cheese, brown rice pastas, all the raw foods. I mean, who doesn't like eggs? You can eliminate, just take out the Fruit Loops and put eggs in, and that would be your breakfast. If you're wanting to have a sandwich, replace the bread. If you're eating animal protein in a sandwich, throw the animal protein in a salad. Salads are key. That raw fiber is what feeds our beneficial bacteria. Clinical studies show that when you're not eating fiber, our beneficial bacteria disappear. But when you eat fiber consistently, they don't die off and they stay and they become strong. And then they feed off of that fiber, providing short chain fatty acids, which actually help build the colon wall and give you the probiotics that you need. Wendy, why don't you tell me what this is? Is that like a new disease or something, or what is it? Supplement? Someone's asking me if I heard about the Proton FMD Volter Longo. Is that a machine? What is that? This sucks about Facebook. I think I'm gonna shut down my phone while I do this and put it back up. Okay. Maybe that will be the situation. In the meantime, ask your questions. Someone saw me in Chicago about 20 years ago.
I'm not sure I understand.
No, not Siri. I meant to shut you off. I don't know how to do this. Oh, dude. Okay. Anybody know how to shut off an iPhone? Just kidding. There's proof that I've been on a raw food diet for 20 years, everybody. Oh, dude,
I'm not sure I understand.
That's Siri. Okay, there we go. No. There we go. Slide power. Okay. Fasting mimicking diet. He wrote a book, The Longevity Diet. Cousin's Restaurant. Yeah, I've spoken there many times in Chicago, Illinois. I don't think it's still open anymore. Is that open anymore? How is Mehmet doing? Okay, so let's see what other questions you have here. What's up, Laura? We're trying to get Facebook working. Okay. So we've been talking about how to heal from pretty much a lot of the basic diseases. Some of them are pretty foolproof, such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I've never seen someone not heal from these things when improving their dietary lifestyle like the way we're talking about now. I've never seen it not work. Now, there are some diseases where I have seen it not work. And generally the reason that would be is, I guess you could say, a spiritual issue for the most part. Okay, I'm going live on Facebook again. Hopefully that does it. And brightness back up. Okay, that looks like it's more. Okay, Crystal, can you see if I'm live on Facebook? Okay, so for those of you just tuning in, everyone got a $9 store credit, and that's good until the end of the month in their store account. If you don't have a store account, simply create one, and within 24 hours, we will deposit a $9 store credit into your store account. Awesome deal. You can use the coupon code RAWFOOD7 at the same time for 7% off. I don't know what's up with Facebook. This sucks. Okay. So we were just talking about how dietary changes helps improve many of our blood markers and even heal them, heal diseases. It's almost foolproof for certain diseases. But then we were saying for other diseases, I've seen practically every disease healed with a raw food or cooked whole foods diet, but I've also seen it not work. And there could be various reasons why. What's up, Passmore? One reason could be like you're fooling yourself saying that you're doing this dietary lifestyle or that you've tried this for this amount of time when you really didn't, or, you know, I know many people who say they're 100% raw for this many years, but then I see them eating other things and it's just like a little glitch they're saying. Anyway, I don't know. That's like their own deal. But there have been times where people haven't healed from simply eating very healthily. So it's not always a physical issue. And it could be a spiritual one. And this kind of comes into play with the placebo effect I like to talk about. Now, the placebo effect happens when a person, we got a new comment. The placebo effect happens when a person has a disease and they take a pill with 0 active ingredients and they're told that it's going to heal them. And based off belief, they healed from that disease. It's happened with Parkinson's disease. It's happened with IBS. There's even in the medical journal, Doctor's Medical Journal, it's happened with cancer. It's happened with knee surgeries. Pretty much everything. So the placebo effect is a very powerful tool in actually healing people from disease, because you could actually trick someone into, or not trick someone, they could trick themselves into believing that they're healed to where their blood markers go to normal and they completely heal. The danger of the placebo effect, though, is it can also work against you. For example, if you go to the doctor and you get your blood tested for thyroid and your levels on this particular day are completely off, and based off of that one blood test, the doctor tells you have a thyroid disorder, you need to go on medication for the rest of your life, possibly kill some of it with radioactive iodine, or sometimes they actually use a radioactive thing if you're hyperthyroid to kill cells in there. Sometimes they'll even want to remove it. So first off, if you're diagnosed by an authority figure like that, because the placebo effect works really well when an authority figure gives you a pill to heal yourself. But if they tell you have cancer and you need chemotherapy, or they have a thyroid disorder, panic happens. And then that's like the placebo effect working against you. You actually believe that you have this new disease, and it becomes your baby, your part of you for the rest of your life. Now you have to keep in mind that first off, thyroid levels change throughout the entire day. I had one friend who got a thyroid test 1 month and they were hypothyroid, and then the next month they were hyperthyroid. The levels in the blood are so hard to measure for thyroid because it's so low that there's not even one thyroid test that has exact precision. So you have to be very careful with blood tests, because numbers on a piece of paper freak a person the hell out. So this is the placebo effect working against us. And we have to be very careful. And then we panic and then we freak out. This is our new disease. So what we want to be doing is believing that we're healthy on an ongoing basis. Me personally, I don't like to take blood tests. First off, I don't believe in them 100%. And number two, for the freak out factor is like what's so dangerous, because the blood test could be a placebo effect working against you. You have to be very strong in yourself to not allow that to impact you. Get a blood test every week for months to see what happens. Go to a lab where doctors aren't even involved and see what happens. Seriously, blood tests change on season for thyroid, time of day, and it's very hard to, it's not even that precise. Okay. And then also, on a spiritual level, we want to be doing the best that we can be doing on an ongoing basis. How can this be put for? Sometimes we learn lessons through physical ailments. Like, for example, let's say you go off your path, or you're ungrateful for your life, or you're always complaining, or you don't treat people well. You're always like possibly drawing energy. I'm not saying anybody does this, but I'm saying possibly drawing energy from people on an ongoing basis. So many possibilities and scenarios to where this type of thing can this, like a spiritual aspect, can cause disease. So, I mean, if you look at all different religions, kind of share this type of information. For example, if you were to look in the Bible, there was something called a leper, someone who had leprosy, meaning they would have like skin issues, like sores all over their body, and it's almost like everybody would know that they had leprosy, and it was kind of like, ee! And it was known back in the day that they sinned in order for this to happen. And 10 lepers came up to Jesus in the Bible and said, please help us. He healed all 10 of them. And while they're on their way, they realized that they were healed. And then they were all like, whoa. And only one came back and was like, thank you, God. And he said, congratulations, your faith has made you well, and you're healed completely. So it was like almost like he got extra level healing there on some level compared to the other 9. In shamanistic traditions, they say that if someone has a spiritual opening, a spirit can, like an entity or a spirit can latch on. Like, so if you freak out that you have a thyroid issue, and then you continually worry about this on an ongoing basis, it can create a spiritual opening. And then in shamanic traditions, they say spirits can come in and maybe latch onto something and have this drainage until you fix your thoughts in your mind to where you stop this, and you can actually, it's like, it's best not to go there. And this is also the danger of the placebo effect working against you. In shamanistic traditions, they also say that cancer is generally a black spirit that overtakes a person. And they say that's because of certain characteristic or traits that they might have. Look, I'm not here, I'm just sharing different things that I've seen from around the world and scriptures and things like this. You can come up with your own conclusions. But what I'm saying is, number one, we want to eat healthily regardless. It's kind of silly to eat processed foods these days. We want to try to eat everything on the cooked whole foods diet if we can, which has many foods. We're talking eggs, chicken, fish, turkey, eliminating refined sugars, processed starches. You can eat baked potato, brown rice, beans, brown rice pastas, quinoa, millet, buckwheat. There's all sorts of foods. It's easy to do. You don't need to be 100% raw to be healthy. And then also, we want to like work on our health in our mind. For example, when the law of attraction states that what you put your attention towards, you manifest. And it's very easy for us to manifest what we don't want, but it's not easy to manifest what we do want. For example, if someone is worried about their weight, they effortlessly worry about that on an ongoing basis. It's just like effortless to them. But if they want to be healthy, it's harder to put the energy forth in order to do that. Or if you worry about your disease on an ongoing basis, you're putting all of your attention, your power, and your thoughts there to where you can probably manifest that disease. That's the law of attraction that we've all heard about. So what we want to do is stop that worry and fear about the disease. So first, we're talking about eating healthily. You got to jump on the bandwagon with that if you're not doing that already. It's just common sense. Number two, we got to start getting out of fear and worry about our disease or whatever you think you have. It's almost like we want to consciously reproduce the placebo effect. That the person who gets the placebo effect happening to them, they take a pill and they believe 100%. they healed. They don't have to worry about their disease ever again. They said, I took this pill, I don't need to worry, I'm healed. So whenever worry comes in, like, you know, anger comes in, we know how to work with that, right? We focus, and then we don't want to like throwing things around in public. So we've learned how to master anger in certain situations. So when worry comes into this person who took a placebo pill, they're like, I'm healed. The doctor gave me a pill and I'm healed. They don't even have to worry about it anymore. So whenever worry comes in about our disease, we have to work spiritually in order to keep that out. If you just do this without any spiritual battle and you allow this to come in, you're just going to be unconsciously worrying and changing your frequency to just allow worry and fear to run through your looping, draining your energy, creating the manifestation of it through the law of attraction. You got to be like, no. And then lastly, we want to do everything in our power to be good people, not take advantage of others. So those are what I have seen to be the 3 areas of reasons why people end up with diseases and how to heal. When someone, and it's almost like a blessing on some level. If the reason why you have a disease is not dietary, but let's say you're doing something that you shouldn't be, and you discover you have cancer, that freaks the person out. Maybe you were ungrateful for your life. Maybe you weren't treating other people as well as you could be. And then all of a sudden you're like grateful for your life. You're enjoying every moment you have with your family. You're starting to treat people better. You're back on your path. You're grateful for every last aspect. And then maybe you'll heal from disease. It's like a warning sign, like, hey, hello, you're off your path. You're not doing something right here. Time to, it's like when someone hits rock bottom and then they become famous because they made all these changes. Okay. Someone says, you said you take your lecithin before lunch and dinner. I've been mixing mine into my smoothies. Is that okay? Or does it need to be taken on an empty stomach like you seem to be doing? And then we're going to come back here and answer these questions. I don't have as many questions because Facebook is not working. It could be good to take on an empty stomach. It probably is best to do that way. I take so many things on an empty stomach, but it almost feels like sunflower lecithin is also, even though it like just melts in your mouth and it does seem like a micronutrient to me, I take it with my food. I take it on an empty stomach first thing before I eat my food, which is kind of like not taking it on an empty stomach. It's my new favorite food is our sunflower lecithin. It's the first cold pressed, not first cold pressed, the first 100% raw one that I've seen because I've searched for everything on the market. Sunflower lecithin is like organic phosphorus. And I've learned so much about it. It's crazy. Here, we'll go into it right now. We have it at cost. You could also use your $9 store credit and you get free shipping if you order either King Central, King Tone, any oregano product, or Ocean's Alive Marine Phytoplankton. We have free shipping. If you order one of those products, it makes the entire cart free shipping. Sunflower lecithin. Okay, so lecithin, also known as organic phosphorus. Okay, I'm not a doctor, so before making any changes, talk to any professional, but the sunflower lecithin I'm learning can actually help a hypo or hyper state in your endocrine glands, including the thyroid. I actually did an article on this today. I wonder how much flack I'm gonna get for the title. Oops. Anyways, I'll know tomorrow when customer service opens all the emails. Anyway, sunflower lecithin, first off, so we have the greatest spiritual organ that we know of is the pineal gland. And there's more lecithin in the pineal gland than any other organ in the body. The brain has more lecithin than the pineal gland is part of that head area, has more lecithin than anywhere else in the body. Our sexual secretions have lots of lecithin. Lecithin is a precursor to acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain, which makes invisible things, synaptic things happening. It's impossible to see. Like, it's almost like it creates a combustion effect to where, okay, so we're gonna go deep into this. I got into physics in regards to this phosphorus. Phosphorus has a negative spin unlike any other element, so it doesn't decohere, it doesn't decay like other elements. And a physicist named Matthew Fisher started studying about people with mental disorders. And he was wondering why lithium would help people. And he discovered that this phosphorus has a negative spin. And he came to the conclusion, if you guys don't, you know what quantum entanglement is in physics, is if one particle that is very similar to another, they're quantum entangled. And as soon as this one has information, the other one gets the information immediately. It doesn't travel in a straight line like a telephone communication would happen. It just, all of a sudden this thing has it, it pops up into this quantum entanglement aspect. So phosphorus is the only element, because it doesn't decohere, that can possibly hold quantum information, such as human thoughts, invisible information. Thoughts are things. And so so Einstein was asked about quantum entanglement and all the stuff that's going on. He called it spooky action at a distance. He's like, I don't know. And so there's been many experiments that have been happening over the years, such as the Emoto experiment. If you were to put good vibration to water, the frozen component would be beautiful. If you were to put ugly energy, like cussing or bad words, it would turn into an ugly structure. So you are sending information spiritually to this water in order to heal it. And there's been many experiments of people healing people from a distance. For example, if someone's staring at you and you get this weird feeling and you look at them. So I have come to the conclusion through all of this physics information that I did a completely article to break it down, that the building blocks, it's a precursor to acetylcholine, number one, which is that neurotransmitter. Phosphorus is the building blocks, in my opinion and belief, to our spiritual facilities. And after I wrote this article, I just found this last week. I found an old school book that says, no phosphorus, no thoughts. And this is lecithin. And so they came to this conclusion. There's a lot more I'm going to be researching. But when someone was like going through crazy amounts of thoughts, all of a sudden there'd be crazy amounts of phosphorus in their excretions, urine and feces. And I was like blown away that my physics studying was actually like ringing true even more. So so let's go more into this is my favorite food, I'm telling you, this lecithin thing. So it's a precursor to phospholipids also, which is the cell membrane and is responsible for absorption. So you take lecithin, it is a precursor to acetylcholine, and a thought is just creating all these synaptic nerve firing. So you need to replenish that and feed that. And if you're not getting enough, it's going to drain it from the pineal gland, and then the pineal gland is going to take whatever it can get and it can become calcified. So now I'm discovering that lecithin is also a part of the nervous system. And the myelin sheath that it's almost like a nerve oil is made out of lecithin that goes over the myelin sheath, and when oxygen comes in, it starts to create that synaptic firing again. So it's actually very important for our nervous system and our nervous tissue. And if you're not getting enough lecithin and you're deficient in it, then you can run into nervous issues, such as lassitude, fatigue, emotional disturbance, and things like this. Now, the reason why I was saying my article might have been a bit crazy today was I was talking about how sexual secretions, male and female, are loaded with lecithin. And when we continually do that on an ongoing basis, we are taking the phosphorus, lecithin, organic phosphorus, from our bloodstream in order to do that. And then what happens is the other areas lack in their phosphorus levels, especially if you're, watching porn every day, twice a day, every other day. That's not a very healthy thing to do. And there's like all these old school books that actually say it can result into dementia, psychosis, and things like that. So it's important to replenish the lecithin on an ongoing basis, especially if you're pregnant. If you're pregnant, then you're creating a baby's brain that needs lecithin. If you're having lots of sex while you're pregnant, then you're getting that drained out at the same time. You got to eat lots of lecithin when you're pregnant. That's like critical. And one of the reasons why a lot of women run into issues while pregnant is for this reason, because they're lacking lecithin. Also, it's very important. Lecithin is loaded in our adrenal glands, all of the endocrine glands. The pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the ovaries have a crazy amount of lecithin. So that's what you don't want to be draining that. The sperm is 30% lecithin. The tail is like 60, no, I think it was like 32% lecithin. So what happens is if you're continually draining lecithin and not replenishing it, it can throw your other endocrine glands, such as your thyroid, into a hyper state. Because all of a sudden you're pulling all this lecithin out of your system, and now your thyroid kind of has to overcompensate, and other areas have to overcompensate to find lecithin. I got to read the details about this because it's not matching up right now. But then what happens is if we continually do this, is what the literature said, that, and we diminish it and we don't replenish it, then it can result in a hypo state in the long run, because now you're just deficient in lecithin, and these endocrine glands can't even get any, so everything's like slow functioning. So in the beginning phases, the hyper aspect of the glands are happening, I guess, when you have a lot and it's overcompensating, trying to get more lecithin or whatever it's doing. So lecithin, organic phosphorus, there's so many possibilities. It could be one thing that might help you. Now, back in the day, what they did was, from sexual excess, is they would stop having sex or orgasming in order to heal this type of thing. And then they were actually saying that in Europe, they had great success with giving food. Doing both would probably be the best in order to like get to a certain level. And then, look, I'm not against sex, obviously. And it's also been stated as a healthy thing. But if you're like continually watching the internet and doing your thing, that is a very unhealthy thing from my standpoint. And I feel it's very important to replenish the lecithin on an ongoing basis. Our lecithin is 100% raw, so it has the living elements needed in order to give your body what it needs at therawfoodworld.com. I personally take our lecithin 2 teaspoons before lunch and dinner. It's my favorite thing. So I mentioned in men how much lecithin is in the semen and the sperm. And if you consider every ejaculation, there's 226 million sperm. And every single one of those tails is 30% lecithin, and the semen is 30% lecithin also. So you're losing a lot of phosphorus when you do that type of thing. And for women, when they orgasm, there is something called the Skene's gland that also produces a fluid that has lots of lecithin in it. It's very similar to semen without the sperm, obviously. And lecithin is drained also. In these old school books, it talks about how for men and women, it can result into this old school disease called nersomnia, which is like the nervous system issue we were just talking about, to where it can result in like the fatigue and things like this. So lecithin might work for a lot of people if you're having issues. Okay, I've been using organosilica and the Organo G5 Silica plant for about 3 months, and my hair has grown thicker. Organosilica is a product on our website right now. It's free shipping, and you can use $9 store credit. And if you don't have a store account with us, it will be available in 24 hours. You use the coupon code RAWFOOD7 for 7% off. So her hair grew thicker because Organo Living Silica, many of you know that I've been talking about, I have my new video coming out tomorrow, by the way. We talked about this last week. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so our nutrition happens on an atomic level with atoms. We've been talking about this when we've been debunking the complete protein myth. The body can't accept a complete protein. What happens is the food goes into the small intestines, the chyme goes into the small intestines, and the small intestines takes, the villi of the small intestine takes all the molecules. And then on its way to the liver, these molecules are segregated into their individual atoms. So pretty much from eating any food, such as meat or raw food or whatever, you're pretty much, the nourishment you're getting is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. These are the elements, the end elements that the liver gets. The liver catalogs these atoms, and then whatever the body needs at that time will form atoms. For example, amino acids are molecules formed by these atoms. A complete protein means nothing. Because yes, it might have all the amino acids in that structure, but the body will take it, break it down into amino acids, and probably use it for something completely different. Plus, these atoms are ideal when they're alive. And when you eat meat that is cooked, these atoms are not alive anymore. But regardless, we're not going to get into that right now. So vegetable juices have living atoms that when you drink them, it goes straight into the small intestines, digested in 15 minutes. All the energy is utilized because it's all broken down. The fiber doesn't need to be worked on. There's no byproducts created, such as when you eat meat and other foods. There's byproducts of all sorts of foods. You're simply eating straight nutrition. Molecules and atoms that just go straight to the liver. The liver's like, whoa, look at all this firepower we have that we can use to rebuild the human body. Carrot juice is like one of the best juices you could possibly drink. You drink carrot juice, has all of the atoms required to build collagen when you drink carrot juice, to build every amino acid. Drink a wide variety of them, you're set. Why is it saying low battery when my plug is plugged in? Oh, dude, why is... Okay, there we go. So what we want is living atoms that go in to your system without any obstruction and rebuilds and regenerates the body. So organoliving silica is it's a liquid, so it's almost like a vegetable juice that has these atomic elements, and it's silica. And that just goes straight to the liver, and the silica component is responsible for growing skin, hair, nails, hair, made her hair thicker. But let's continue to read. Now I've bought my first bottle of living silica. I'm confused about the recommended dosage on the bottle. It says, we recommend doubling your dosage, which would be 2 tablespoons to accelerate results. The question is, does one double the dosage 10 minutes before every meal or double the dosage once a day? Thank you. Okay, so Dr. Norman Walker helped heal thousands of people from all sorts of diseases. He was a pioneer in the early 1900s, mid 1900s. He had a very high success rate in healing people from disease. And his main thing was drinking vegetable juices. He gave people a wide variety of vegetable juices. And he actually gave people seawater, kind of like why I recommend ketone and quintessential. Because that has all the minerals the human body needs in the ocean. You know, it's a cold filtered ocean mineral. So the more he recommends to get positive results, you'd want to drink anywhere between 2 and 8 per day. 1 is the least amount, but 2 per 8 per day. So I'm actually coming out with a micronutrient kit soon that has there's not that many products. Whenever I do a superfoods talk, we talk about all these different superfoods, and I say if you're on a budget, the ones that we want to get are the micronutrient ones that have these living atoms in like a liquid form or close to, or something that just absorbs immediately without any obstruction, and your body gets these live elements and regenerates. So each one of these products that I'm going to be talking about in this kit is pretty much like drinking a vegetable juice, is what you're getting there. So organoliving silica is like drinking a vegetable juice. It's a very potent dose of silica in its living state. I'm getting all the details how they keep it in a living state, but they have guaranteed to me that it is a living state, and I'm just waiting for that information. They say it's too difficult to understand right now, the science aspect of it, but I'm on that. So the question is about to double the dose 10 minutes before. I would give it 15 to 20 minutes before each meal if possible. It's like drinking a vegetable juice. And the more often you do it, the better. Me personally, let's say you're doing 4 tablespoons, 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening on an empty stomach. It might even be better just to do throughout the day 4. But sometimes it's like, does the body utilize everything? It's only like a tablespoon, so maybe either way actually works. But if someone's gonna drink 2 vegetable, if someone's gonna drink like 2 16-ounce vegetable juices twice a day, or they're gonna be drinking 4 8-ounce vegetable juices 4 times a day, each one on an empty stomach, I'd probably go with the 4 8-ounce because that's like a large quantity of liquid. And you're going to be getting the nutrition 4 times throughout the day. And your liver's just going to take that and be like, boom. Because if you do a lot at one time, and 16 ounces isn't a lot. I'm just giving you an example. But let's say you do 32 ounces, the body's not going to eat, you're going to pee out a lot of that maybe. But the way nutrition works, mainstream science has it wrong. All the complete protein concepts have it wrong. So remember I was talking about this new video? I just got the final version right now as this was going on. I have a good feeling about this video. It's a new style. I'm probably gonna do one every week or every 2 weeks. It's a new style that I'm thinking is going to hit the masses. That's how good it is. And if you're not on my newsletter list, it's probably gonna come out tomorrow morning or afternoon. So go to therawfoodworld.com and join the newsletter list. Matt, I've done vegan for 2 days, plus my juicing. What are your thoughts on EBV and keeping fat and protein low and eating high fruits? Okay, so I don't know what EBV is. Okay, so I'm not a fan of the 80-10-10 movement. I actually eat way more fat and less fruit. I save all my carb and sugar intake for carrot juice because that rebuilds and regenerates the human body. You'll rarely, like back in the day when I first went raw, I used to eat, I don't want to say it, like 10 baskets of figs in the morning, 15 dripping wet sugar persimmons. I was a sugar addict, and I would sometimes drink 9 Thai coconuts in the morning, just straight sugar. I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up with so many wrinkles at this age from being on a raw food diet for so many years. And then when I stopped the sugar, I felt so much better. I'm not against sugar. I'm just saying, like, fats rebuild tissue, the brain. Protein rebuilds tissue, collagen. Sugar doesn't rebuild anything. It has vitamins and minerals, but it just breaks down into glucose and fiber. It's just so obvious to me. But regardless, people generally do well at the beginning because they're eliminating all this crap, but in the long run, they run into hair issues, teeth issues, and things like this. So I'm not a fan of extremely high amounts of fruit. It could help someone in the earlier stages. If you exercise more, you can get away with it for longer. But anyway, the only fruit that I've been eating lately are strawberries, which are very low glycemic. And then I drink carrot juice throughout the day as my carb intake, because carrot juice is like almost like a miracle food. It is almost like under a microscope. It almost resembles the human blood molecule, like very closely. It's incredibly healthy for children. It builds the structure of the teeth. It cleanses the liver. It's from all sorts of junk. That's why your skin turns orange. It's not because of the carrots, the pigment. It's good for your eyesight. It recovers your muscles and collagen better than any other. It's also very sturdy. So it's raw and it's very sturdy. So it's going to hold these elements and not degrade. Carrot juice is like a miracle. I'm like all over it. You can mix it with green juice, celery, whatever you want. So all my sugar intake, I save for carrot juice. And then I just don't eat any other sugar throughout the day usually. So, yeah, when I used to eat that amount of figs every single day and other fruits like this, I would be at my mom's house and, you know, it's fig season and there's like fig trees around the neighborhood that I would go and take from, and I would get permission most of the time. And in the morning, like during my lunchtime, all of a sudden I would shake. I needed to get to that fig tree as soon as possible. I was almost like felt like I was gonna pass out. And then I would start eating the figs. I'd be like, how's that healthy? And then I realized from common sense that I had to take down my sugar intake. And then I would do it for a few days. And go through the suffering of the until like sugar, like crazy amounts of it. Sugar's fine, like in blueberries, and just when these people go crazy with it. Crazy. It's like addicts. 30 bananas a day. It's just like not healthy. I've had much more energy. I took 2 walks per day plus calisthenics. I haven't been able to do that in 3 years. Okay, so when you do a high fruit diet like this, number one, you're eliminating all the crap. That's the main benefit of these 80-10-10 diets. And people are gonna do extremely well at first. And then also, sugar breaks down into glucose. So it's gonna give you crazy amounts of energy. That's fuel. But then there's byproducts when you do as much as you're saying. And then you have crazy smelling gas. The gas that I used to get from eating that amount of fruit was ridiculous. And in the long run, it ain't good. My eating healthy and eliminating grains, sugar, dairy, and processed foods definitely put me in a spiritual place. This is the same person. So you eliminate that stuff, and that's why you feel so good on a high fruit diet. But in the long run, just like the ketogenic diet or the Atkins diet, at first a person does extremely well. They feel really good because they've eliminated all the crap. But if you continue to eat too much meat every single day on an ongoing basis, the amount of uric acid that you're producing can't be eliminated fast enough. Dr. Norman Walker did thousands of urinalysis, and only 1/5 to 1/10 of the amount of uric acid that was supposed to come out of meat eaters came out, the urea. So the rest of it was being left, causing kidney stones and soaking in the muscles up like a sponge. So you have to think about the long-term effects of some of these things we do. At the beginning, we feel really good eating lots of meat and eliminating all the crap, or eating crazy amounts of fruit and eliminating all the crap. But in the long run, that amount of sugar is gonna hit you in the freaking. If you look really closely at the internet, the 80-10-10 movement became really big. And there was like this, like, oh, I'm famous, 80-10-10, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden there was an implosion. You can't even find much of it anymore. A lot of people were running into hair issues, teeth issues. A lot of these guys that promoted the diet weren't even eating 100% raw, which is a big mistake to like promote something that you're not even doing yourself, because you're eating other foods that satiates you, that gives you certain nourishment that you don't get in raw foods. And so you're eating crazy amounts of fruit with like eggs or something, or baked potato or whatever you're doing. You become way more sensitive on a raw food diet. And you're telling people not to eat avocados, not to eat nuts or seeds, or just very small amounts of it. What kind of nourishment are they going to be getting? Sugar. You're pretty much screwing them over. And then you see videos of these people later on throwing refined sugar on cereal, saying that they used to do or throwing sugar in a smoothie, saying they did these at these retreats of a famous author who promoted this type of diet. So they publicly say one thing and then do another. And then I get all these emails from people. I followed these people and now my teeth are falling out. My teeth are degrading. My hair is falling out. Help me. So in the long run, it's not good. Okay, so here we go. By any chance, is it possible to get rid of calcium deposit in shoulder joint without surgery? How do you know that it is a calcium deposit? Because of what you felt, or they actually did a test, or what do you think? But yes, it is possible. But that includes, most people aren't willing to improve their dietary lifestyle. Calcium deposits generally come from eating refined sugars and processed starches and other harmful foods, bad fluoridated water, pharmaceutical drugs, trans fatty acids. You kind of eliminate that first, because if you start doing procedures to eliminate the calcium stuff and you're continually putting more in, you're not going anywhere. And it's kind of like when a person drinks coffee, they don't go through the withdrawals of the coffee until it's eliminated completely, the main withdrawals. So it's like when you eliminate something, then the body starts throwing it out. But there are certain things you can do. Like, for example, grapefruit juice has salicylic acid, which helps break it down. Carrot celery juice has crazy amounts of sodium, and calcium gets stabilized in a solution of sodium. So it will bring it out through the urine. So you'd want to drink lots of celery juice, maybe with carrot, while eliminating all that other crap. Enemas and colonics can actually help too, because if you're impacted with gas and other waste, then it's going to have a problem. Your elimination channels are backed up. Oops. Let's see if there's any more questions here. Okay. Let's see here. Any more questions? Okay. Let's hit refresh here. Okay, my husband has type 1 diabetes. And he developed chronic hives 2 months ago. What natural product can he use to heal these? Thanks so much. Okay, so number one, if he developed type 1 diabetes, that shows me that he has a very bad diet. And hives are a result from eating poorly. Most of the time, products and stuff don't heal diseases like this. You've got to clean up the diet, and then it cleans up the body, and then you start healing from stuff like this. So what you want to do, he's got to get rid of refined sugar, processed starches, such as bread, and trans fatty acids. It's almost like the amount of byproducts that is created from these foods is ridiculous in the human body. For example, the starch molecule can't be broken down in alcohol, air, water, and many other substances. So you have these solid molecules when you eat white bread or white pasta that travel through the human system. And the body will eliminate a lot of them, but the eliminative organs will start to build up this like starchy wall. And then germs come in and propagate on it because they're helpers and they want to like break down this starchy plaster wall. And then it breaks it down into this pussy substance and creates havoc on the skin. So this is an internal issue. You can't take a product to put on these hives or take internally if you're eating this stuff on an ongoing basis. You got to stop eating that, and then all of a sudden, these byproducts stop being created. Your body can actually catch up with what it's doing and break all this down. Fungus. It's usually generally kind of the same thing. But if you wanted a product, if it is something like fungus, then you could try like dragon's blood, which is antibacterial, antifungal, anti all these other things. We have a 100% pure dragon's blood on our website. But the best results that I've seen in all instances is improving your dietary lifestyle. Something like dragon's blood can be used in conjunction with improving your dietary lifestyle. The first result, the first natural, I don't want to say natural doctors because they kind of do a lot of the same things that regular doctors do. They give you supplements in order to heal you. They take tests. They take thyroid tests and say, oh, the doctors say 4.5. Let's lower it to 2.0. If it's above 2.0, we could say you have a thyroid disorder. But it's supposed to be 4.5. And we'll give you like 1,000 other tests because the other doctors don't know how to diagnose you right. The more tests that they could give you and the more they could pinpoint it, the more money they make on some sort of level because they can diagnose you. And people who go to the doctor who want their thyroid disorder get pissed off and find these natural doctors. But anyway, what we want to be doing is a real natural doctor, such as Dr. Norman Walker, Dr. Ann Wigmore, all these other people, aren't going to treat you from the outside in. They're going to treat you from the inside out. So what you want to do is improve your dietary lifestyle first. And then if the hives don't go away after months of doing that, which it probably will, and the next best thing you could do while improving your dietary lifestyle, especially when you get sick, is possibly enemas and colonics to remove all this waste out that you've like the compacted waste because your eliminative organs could be messed up. It sounds like if he has type 1 diabetes, that his diet has been very poor for decades. So this isn't like an overnight thing, most likely. So the first step is to clean up our diets. You can use dragon's blood in conjunction with it, but see what the diet does, and not even try dragon's blood. See all these different things. Anyway, join my newsletter list at therawfoodworld.com. My new video is coming out tomorrow. I'm extremely excited about it. Everybody has a $9 store credit in their store account right now. And you can use that with rawfood7, 7% off coupon code. We now offer free shipping with anyone who puts any one of these products in their cart, such as Organo Living Silica, Ketone, Keto Essential, or Oceans Alive, which are all micronutrient foods, by the way. So this is Matt Monarch. Thanks for tuning in. Mwah. There's no finish button. Oh, end. Finish.